Imagine a road that leads to a bridge, but the bridge itself is missing. Even though you can't stand at that exact spot, you know precisely where the road was headed. That's the core idea of a limit in calculus. Consider the function x squared minus 4 divided by x minus 2. If you plug in x equals 2, you get 0 over 0, an error. The function has a tiny invisible hole at that point, but as we get closer and closer to 2, from 1.9, then 1.99, then 1.999, the function's value zooms in on the number 4. The limit is 4. It's the value the function approaches, even if it never actually gets there. Sometimes finding a limit is simple. For a smooth, continuous function like a polynomial, you just plug in the number. That's called direct substitution. The road has no gaps. But for our function with the hole, direct substitution fails. That 0 over 0 is a clue. It tells us to look closer, to do some algebra. By factoring the top expression, we can cancel out the part causing the problem. We're left with a simpler function that reveals the limit is indeed 4. We've mathematically located the missing piece of the bridge. This directly leads to the idea of continuity. A function is continuous if there are no holes, no gaps, no jumps. The limit must exist, the function's value must exist, and crucially, they must be equal. You can draw its graph without ever lifting your pencil. Limits also let us see the future of a graph. By looking at what happens as x flies off towards infinity, we can find a function's end behavior, the horizontal line it might hug forever. It's this powerful concept of approaching that forms the very foundation of calculus.